Would everyone please stand for the national anthem? Please be seated. I am Bob Curry, the board chairman here at the Keck Graduate Institute. We are fortunate to have a good weather day today. In years past, we've had a lot warmer days. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty, and the staff of KGI, I would like to welcome the parents, friends, and of course the students of the class of 2010 to this 9th annual commencement exercise here at KGI. I would now like to introduce Rabbi Daveen Litwin from the Office of Chaplains, who will deliver the invocation.
The great sage Simeon ben Zoma of the 2nd century taught, "Who is honorable? One who honors others. Who is wise? One who learns from all persons." We come together on this beautiful morning to honor the achievements of the women and men who will graduate today from Keck Graduate Institute. As we take in a deep breath, we pause to remember all who have shared wisdom and mentoring, those who sparked and nurtured growth, inspired and stimulated thought, and provided the warmth of friendship and love to reach this moment. We are grateful for the care and support of families, friends, and colleagues, the guidance and encouragement of professors, and the dedication of trustees, administrators, and staff members of the KGI community. As this ceremony begins, we lift up and honor each one of these men and women for the individual richness of their talents, for their accomplishments and aspirations, and for the vitality and commitment with which they have enhanced our community. Together we offer our hopes and prayers for these graduates on the next course of their journey. O source of life, may the depth of study, insight, and connection nurtured in these years at KGI strengthen them with courage, confidence, and hope as they meet new challenges. May they always learn from all persons, so that the wisdom and compassion they learned here will help them create a more just and peaceful world. Amen.
Okay, we have a tradition here at KGI where we ask the students to stand, if you would please, and to thank their parents and their friends with a round of applause for all the encouragement that has been provided to them over the years. Please. Please be seated. I would now like to ask President Schuster to please come to the podium.
Thank you, Chairman Curry. It is my deep pleasure to welcome today's graduates of the Keck Graduate Institute, the class of 2010, KGI's 9th graduating class, and the new alumni who are initiating KGI's 13th anniversary year. I also extend a special welcome to family, friends, and guests who come together today to celebrate this commencement. We are honored to be joined by the members of KGI's Board of Trustees, Advisory Council, faculty, alumni, and staff. On behalf of the KGI community, I welcome all of you to KGI's campus. I would now like to introduce Pratush Chander, class of 2010, who will read a dedication to Muthukumar Karthikeyan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be amidst you, and I welcome you all once again on behalf of the KGI class of 2010. Today, 38 young minds are graduating with the Master of Bioscience degree from one of the top-notch professional schools in the country. Each of us came here with a lot of dreams, immense passion, and of course with uncertainness. While there are some who came from different parts of this country, there were 15 of us who embarked on this journey from different countries outside the United States. We left our home, our country, and our people for this very day. We've all gone through a variety of experience, right from the bright smiles we receive while walking on the streets of Claremont to answering the "what's up" question from our peers. On a serious note, we have all had our fair share of ups and downs. Undoubtedly, this has been the best experience of our professional lifetime yet. On this day of graduation, I'm standing in front of you to dedicate and show our love to our friend who could not make it today. The one who made us realize how grateful we all should be for being in this very moment. I'm here to talk about that one person, that one guy whom I met during my first day in the United States. We came from the same state in India and ended up being roommates for our first year during at KGI. His name is Muthukumar Karthikeyan. We fondly called him MK. I would be prevaricating if I said that everything was perfect between us. We had too many things to disagree that in spite of living in the same room, we hardly ever reached out to each other. But then, why am I here to speak for him today? Not just because we were roommates. It was adversity that brought us together. Certain events in our life made us realize the strength and necessity of each other in our lives. I can proudly say that I have had some of the best conversations and memories I can cherish with Muthu during this time. But life can be cruel at times. Last year, on August 12th, we lost him in an unfortunate fire accident. His absence reiterated one of the simplest yet profound truths of life. Life is too short to live with hatred and regrets. No one from the class of 2010 would forget him. Definitely not me. On this day, we dedicate our sincere love to Muthukumar and his family. Knowing him, I would be the last person to make this dedication sound pitiful. He was strong, brilliant, and ambitious. If he was here, I'm sure he would be saying that it was our misfortune for not having him amidst us. True, we truly miss him. Nothing can replace his loss, especially for his family. On behalf of KGI, I pray the Almighty to offer them all the strength. We, his classmates, are showing our token of gratitude and love to him by dedicating our class gift in memory of him. There is no doubt that he will stay forever in our hearts. I wish there were 39 of us graduating today from KGI. But wait, he was just too brilliant for all of us. God needed him badly, that he gave him the crown of life. Rest in peace, Muthu. We truly miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. I am pleased to introduce Tyler Kibbe, 2010 class speaker. Tyler was born in Dallas, raised in Houston, and graduated from Vanderbilt University with a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering and a minor in financial economics. From Vanderbilt, he came to KGI, and he will be graduating with a focus on the business of bioscience. Tyler plans to work for the Laguna Hills, California-based venture capital firm he became familiar with through his summer internship. There, he will provide competitive and strategic analysis services to the firm's life sciences portfolio companies. Please welcome Tyler Kibbe.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really honored to be up here and have the chance to speak to you all today. You know, coming to KGI was a big change for a lot of us. Some of us left successful careers in science to become more literate in business. Others from undergraduate institutions looking to learn skills and information actually relevant to the real world. Our class's diversity is astounding, and I want to thank all of my classmates for everything that they've taught me, both in the context of academics and of life. Few places but our school is it possible to get the intimate perspectives of someone from Bulgaria, China, France, India, and Dubai, all in the same place. I'm also amazed by my class's ability to adapt. Take our international students, for example. For many, coming to KGI was their first experience in America, in California. Adapting to such a vastly different country is certainly difficult. And trust me, as a Texan, I can attest to this from my own personal experience. Let me relate an example. Shortly after I arrived in California, it was sunny, of course, and I was enjoying the beautiful day in Los Angeles while filling up my Tahoe at a gas station. And before I or any of my fellow SUV drivers could realize what was happening, an apparently very environmentally conscious woman began running up and yelling, "Tree murders!" I drove home perplexed, but I consoled myself by being sure to take extra good care of all the trees in my backyard. Trust me, I always will. But today isn't about my car guzzling gas like frat boys guzzle beer or strange encounters with hippies. It's about celebrating my class's achievement. It's about looking ahead to our journey, our adventure, facing change in an uncertain future. In my mind, our journey together began on the beach in late August of 2008. We were building sandcastles, and as part of our orientation, each of us were assigned to these small teams whose goal was to construct the best sandcastle using limited resources. Well, we had to decide on very specific roles for each of these people, and we were penalized for violating any of these conditions. Along the way, they threw several twists at us, and one of them actually involved firing one of our teammates. And needless to say, this caused some strife within the groups. Though trivial in the grand scheme of things, I think this experience exemplifies why many say change is inconvenient. Maybe it is inconvenient. Maybe this is why we so often resist change. But on resisting change, we must be careful. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher who first introduced the idea of logic, once cryptically wrote, "Nothing endures but change. Change is constant. Change is unavoidable. Change is inevitable." This is why we must be careful in resisting change, because trying to stop it will get you run over. We're constantly observing change. In fact, we give it many names: innovation, progress, opportunity, decline, collapse, failure. So change can be good or it can be bad, right? Well, that's only if you are the observer of change. If you are the developer of innovation, the catalyst for progress, the seer of opportunity, you are the change. And you yourself are the one thing that you truly have control over. So be the change, create the innovation, facilitate the progress, make the opportunities. I haven't helped pioneer process technologies that have enabled Genentech to earn billions of dollars or save many thousands of lives, like Professor Matt Krogan. I haven't been the catalyst behind research that helps us understand how to successfully replicate biotech clusters or knowledge networks in places that would benefit from our industry, like Professor Stephen Casper or Professor Daniel Bird. And I haven't been the entrepreneur that recognizes opportunity in new technologies and then commercializes them like Professor Molly Schmidt. But as a 25-year-old standing here today, about to graduate, I'm on the cusp of a new career, a new journey, like my classmates. Our journey is in its youth, and our path to maturity will be defined by change. In fact, the word mature is derived from the Latin word mutare, which means to change. Through this journey to maturity, defined by change, we will gain wisdom. But in our youth, we have something that those older and wiser don't: ignorance. If you don't believe me when I say this is an advantage, let me ask you this: why else would the great innovators of the world set out to achieve the impossible? So class, I'd like to say this: let's take advantage of our youth, our ignorance. Let's make this journey something we enjoy. Let's be illogical enough to undertake the impossible, be the developers of innovation, the catalysts for progress, the ones who recognize the opportunities. If not, we risk being the observers of decline, collapse, of failure. Our journey together taught us that we are the bridges to change, bridges which connect biology with chemistry, science with business, and culture with culture. We should let this be encouraging, because there will always be a need for these bridges. There will always be a need for us. Remember, change is enduring, change is constant, change is unavoidable. As we continue our journey, let's remember these things. Make it something you enjoy. An adventure is only an inconvenience rightly understood, and an inconvenience is only an adventure wrongly understood. So to KGI, my classmates, I've enjoyed our journey together. It has been an adventure. I look forward to the change we will bridge in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. I now present Matt Verbrugge, president of the class of 2010. Matt graduated from the University of California at Davis with a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering in 2006. He then worked at Genentech as a lab technician and Affymetrix as a process engineer before coming to KGI in 2008. While a student, he was a first-year curriculum representative for the student government and was on the Bristol-Myers Team Masters project. Over the summer, he interned at Amgen in the clinical supply chain. During his second year at KGI, he was a student body president and a proud member of the Allergan Team Masters project. Matt will be returning to Amgen after KGI to work as a project manager. Please welcome Matt Verbrugge.
Thank you, Shelley. Over the last year, I have had the honor and privilege to be the student body president here at KGI. But I couldn't have done all the accomplishments that the student body has accomplished without the help of the student government. So what I'd like to do right now is to highlight some of the officers and some of their contributions throughout the year. So when I call your name, please stand up so that we can clap and acknowledge your contributions. So the first one is Sana, who was our second year social representative. Sana helped plan the graduation party and numerous of our other events, such as our Siete de Mayo and Oktoberfest, as well as happy hours to help the class to be able to relax and get back to our intense course load. So Sana, our second year social representative. Nick Jasenko was our second year curriculum representative and represented us on all matters relating to the curriculum and actually helped get us a town hall organized so that the class could have better communications with the administration. It's Nick. Thomas was our IM sports rep. He led us to numerous victories in bowling and KGI's first championship in football. And helped chair numerous of our other teams. We had more teams in play than any of the other Claremont colleges because we could play in more leagues than anyone else. So, Thomas? Pierre was our external affairs representative and was instrumental in creating connections to Drucker and CGU for us to be able to interact more with their students and let us know all the different events that were going on at the Claremont colleges. Pierre? Shivas was our information affairs representative. He started up the Side Keck, which was a weekly newsletter to let us know all the different events that were going on at KGI, which ran several pages long each week. And he was able to collate all this information and send it out to everyone, as well as getting the student government website going. So, Shivas? Ben was our safety representative, environmental health and safety, actually. He did his part to help keep us safe and also interacted with the administration to make sure that we were following all the proper protocols. Ben? And then Sarah was our second-year ethics representative. She ran the ethics committee, helped us start bylaws so that our government could actually have some rules to govern it, as well as helping write the honor code and work on the judicial code. Also, she was instrumental in helping to bring an ethics speaker to KGI to discuss the healthcare reform. So, Sarah? And as our time here at KGI comes to an end, it's time for the new students to step into leadership roles and continue the cycle. And to that end, I would like to introduce Kushnuma Besania. Kush? In the back. Kush is going to be the new student body president. So one more time, I'd like to congratulate Kush on taking over. And finally, I'd like to introduce Mike Huang, who's going to introduce the class gift.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, class of 2010, for your generous and timely contributions. I'd also like to take this opportunity to apologize for the massive amount of spam emails that you received over the past 4 months regarding the gift. I'd like to first present the class gift, the class quote, which will be immortalized on this plaque. It says, "When we say science, we mean business." And the 2010 class gift is the beautiful bench set right over there with the plaque to dedicate the class gift to our friend Muthu Kumar. So once again, thank you 2010 class, and thank you KGI.
On behalf of all of us at KGI, let me thank all of you for the very thoughtful gift, and it is my hope that we can sit there and enjoy the good weather and talk with you when you come back to visit all of us. Thank you. It is now my pleasure and privilege to introduce our very special commencement speaker. Dr. David Walt is the Robinson Professor of Chemistry at Tufts University. He received his bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Michigan and a PhD in chemical biology from SUNY Stony Brook. After postdoctoral studies at MIT, he joined the faculty at Tufts and served as chemistry department chairman from 1989 until 1996. Dr. Walt is also the scientific founder and a director of Illumina Incorporated, a company which applies innovative technologies for studying genetic variation and function, making studies possible that were not even imaginable a few years ago. These revolutionary tools for DNA, RNA, and protein analysis are enabling rapid advances in disease research, drug development, and the development of molecular tests in the clinic. Illumina has been a strong supporter of KGI, sponsoring team master's projects, hiring summer interns and KGI graduates, and has maintained a presence on our advisory council and our board of trustees. Additionally, Dr. Walt serves on many government advisory panels and boards and serves on the editorial advisory board for numerous journals. From 1996 to 2003, he was executive editor of Applied Biochemistry and Biotechnology. He has received numerous national awards and international awards, and he's a member of the National Academy of Engineering. Dr. Walt has published over 250 papers and holds over 40 patents and has given hundreds of scientific presentations. I now present the distinguished speaker of the Keck Graduate Institute's 9th commencement, Dr. David Walt.
President Schuster, trustees, faculty, graduates, parents, siblings, and friends. Thank you for the invitation and honor of giving the commencement address this morning. Commencement. Did you ever wonder why graduate ceremonies are called commencement? The etymology is from the Latin term comitiare, meaning to begin or to initiate. So in essence, the end is the beginning. So while we're here to acknowledge the successful completion of your studies, it is our official role to celebrate the beginning of the graduates' opportunities ahead. When I was asked to give this commencement address, I planned to update a talk I gave a few years ago at a similar occasion that focused on the future of science. However, when President Schuster called me to discuss commencement, he told me the students wanted to hear about my experiences in bringing scientific ideas to commercial success. In order to provide you with a complete picture, however, I've decided to convey to you the 10 guiding principles that I embrace and that may help put my experiences and accomplishments into perspective. I will interweave these principles with some of the more personal events that shape my life. Then I will finish by discussing some of the exciting new opportunities in science and technology that I think will likely be important for everyone here during the coming decade. When I was growing up, my father owned a small furniture store in the southwest section of Detroit. It was a blue-collar neighborhood. Occasionally, he would take me to work with him on Saturday mornings or during summer vacation. Now, even though I was only 10 years old, he asked me to organize the carpet display and take all the remnants and all the pieces of carpet and make it appealing to customers because it had gotten all torn apart during the previous months. I remember working nonstop, trying to take a bunch of disorganized carpet samples and remnants and making them look appealing to customers. When I was 15, I got my first real job, my first paying job. And it was as a stock and delivery boy at a small grocery store in the bottom of a high-rise apartment building in the Detroit area. My job, because it was a small market, was to make the shelving appear to look really fully stocked, which entailed taking a very small number of cans and bringing everything to the front of the shelves so that the first row looked perfect, but there was nothing behind them. But when I would finish an aisle, it gave me great pleasure when I would finish it and make it appear so attractive. Now, these early experiences taught me that no matter how menial the activity, no matter how menial the task, and this is the first lesson, it's important to do the job to the best of your ability. And also, take pride in your work. This lesson has carried through with me to this day. When I accept a responsibility, I do it at 100%. When I was 18, I entered college, and I was a pre-medical student. I wanted to be a doctor. Why? I had absolutely no idea. Practically everyone in my high school wanted to be a doctor, so that's what I wanted to be. My parents did everything to encourage this desire. After all, in those days, doctors made lots of money, and they lived in beautiful homes. What more could one aspire to? I became interested in chemistry, though, during my freshman year. I was involved in a research project. I took more advanced courses in chemistry, and I just followed my interests. I took a much less traveled path, at least for students graduating from my high school. So the second lesson, do things for yourself. Don't worry about what others think. If you are confident about your path and your abilities, you will prove yourself, and you will be infinitely happier with your choice. I became an assistant professor because I love to teach and to do research. Now I'm going to stop giving my age at each of these vignettes. My starting salary was $19,000 a year, approximately half of what I would have been able to make had I joined a company, and a pretty low salary even back in the early 1980s. Although I've achieved financial success beyond my wildest imagination, making money was never my goal. Too many people let financial considerations drive them. On the one hand, it's relatively easy to make lots of money if that's your only goal. On the other hand, it's incredibly difficult to pursue meaningful opportunities in science and technology that can predictably result in a big payoff. You've been given the tools here at the Keck Graduate Institute to succeed as technical entrepreneurs, but it takes much more than good ideas, hard work, and training to succeed. It takes luck, the right economic conditions, and a host of other factors that are just not under your control. So lesson 3, be passionate, enjoy what you do, and make sure the things you do are meaningful. In our graduate program at Tufts, we receive many applications for entrance into the PhD program. Having graduated dozens of PhD students from my laboratory, I still cannot predict with 100% accuracy how a student will perform in the PhD program. Students from prestigious schools with 4.0 grade point averages fail in their first year, while those with 3.0 grade point averages from second-tier state schools excel. When I have a particularly strong graduating PhD student, I invariably go back to the student's application file to see if there's anything that would have predicted the student's success. Oftentimes, there are 2 distinguishing characteristics of a successful student. First, their personal statement indicates a genuine enthusiasm for learning in general and research in particular. The students have taken advantage of their undergraduate education by getting involved in a research project. They know what to expect from research, and they're excited to do it at an advanced level. Second, the letter from their undergraduate advisor usually starts out by saying, for example, when Suzanne joined my group, I was a bit hesitant because her grades were mediocre. Despite my reservations, I decided to give Suzanne a chance. I'm so glad that I did. Suzanne has blossomed into a first-rate researcher, and her grades have rebounded significantly. The important lesson here is to give opportunities to enthusiastic, hardworking people. Look past the conventional criteria that people use to predict success. Instead, look for enthusiasm, passion, and a strong work ethic. Don't judge individuals by only the school they attended or even the grades they achieved. Rather, look at what they accomplished, how hard they work, such as if they had an outside job during school, and where they ended up, rather than where they started. Surround yourself with such individuals. As scientists, we are taught to do experiments that test hypotheses. If an experiment does not give the expected result, we move on. But sometimes the results of such experiments can lead to something even more interesting. About 15 years ago, I had a postdoctoral fellow working in my laboratory named Paul Pantano, who's now a faculty member at University of Texas at Dallas. Paul was trying to etch some fiber optic bundles into very sharp points. So he's trying to take these fiber optic bundles and make really sharp points out of them for use for a new microscopic imaging technique we were trying to develop. Every time he attempted to etch the fibers, he'd obtain the opposite result. Small depressions would form. Eventually, we figured out how to obtain the sharp points, but that's another story. A year later, my laboratory was working with these little microscopic beads. I suggested to a graduate student, a woman named Carrie Michael, that she try to load the beads into these tiny depressions that Paul had created. A few days later, Carrie came into my office and showed me these beautiful microscopic images of these little beads nestled in these wells. We had absolutely no idea what they'd be good for. About a year later, I was collaborating on a project that involved analyzing different DNA sequences. At the time, we were analyzing a handful of sequences, about 6 sequences. My collaborator mentioned he was talking to some biologists, and they were thinking that it might be necessary at that time to analyze 100 or maybe even 1,000 sequences at a time. Imagine that. At that instant, I realized that those little beads and those little wells offered us a way to create DNA microarrays with unprecedented densities. Within a few months of that realization, we had demonstrated the concept, and I had venture capitalists knocking on my door. A little company called Illumina got started, and the rest, as you heard, is history. It now has 2,000 employees with $5 billion in market cap. It's now the most successful genetics analysis company in the world. This discovery that led to the success of the company required someone to perform an experiment and report an unexpected observation, the production of depressions where points should have formed. Another student, Carrie, who tried a crazy experiment and a connection between an individual who was thinking about the future and someone who is in possession of some unique technical capability that solved the problem. The lesson is, look for the unexpected. Don't ignore crazy results of any kind. Pay attention to the things that don't make sense. That's where you will find the hidden treasure. I encounter students all the time who are impatient. I recently spoke with a former student who graduated with a PhD from my laboratory a little over 10 years ago. He has an incredible job and is in charge of over 100 employees right now. Yet this student feels he deserves to be in charge of more people now, and he has his eyes set on becoming CEO of a big corporation soon. Yet he's learning so much in his present role, and he's positioning himself for success. Take time to learn about all the different aspects of a business as you have here, about different technologies, about engineering, marketing, finance. Observe. Lesson 6, be patient. Important things take time to flourish. Take the time to learn from others. It's okay if you have to wait until you're 50 or 60 years old to become a CEO of a corporation. It's the journey and where you end up, not where you start out. When we first started Illumina, the question was where to locate the company. I'm based in Boston. We identified some incredibly talented people on both the technical and business sides. Problem was, all these individuals were located in California, San Diego, Bay Area. Even though it was more work for me in terms of travel, conference calls, meetings, back and forth across the country, it was important to locate the company where the talent was. By locating the company in San Diego, we were able to attract the best people. Consequently, the company was given the best chance to succeed. So lesson 7 is surround yourself with great people. There will always be people who are smarter and more talented than you. Don't be intimidated by them. Embrace them. Get them on your side. For 28 years, I've had a poster in my office with a picture of Albert Einstein and one of his famous sayings, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." I'll just leave it there as lesson 8. I see colleagues who go to faculty meetings. They sit around, they listen, they watch, they never say anything. I teach students for an entire semester who never ask any questions. Many graduate students sit at seminars, never ask any questions. If you're present at a meeting, make suggestions. If you have an idea, speak up. Life is short. Make an impact. Take risks. Finally, lesson 10. This perhaps is the most important lesson. I'll let you decide. The lesson is, go fishing. Seriously, you need to bring balance to your life. Friends, family, hobbies, sports. I try to keep my summer schedule open so I can go fishing on my boat. Although I will admit I'm missing a really good fishing day today. Spend time with the people who mean the most to you. Do the things you enjoy the most. Plan and take vacations. When you return from a day off or a week away, you'll be refreshed, full of energy and ideas, and you will have some perspective. These experiences of mine have been highly idiosyncratic. These lessons are only guidelines, and you're definitely going to make a list of your own over time. I'd now like to turn to the second part of my message. It's not as long. Commencement is a time to both reflect on the past, but more importantly, to imagine the future. I'd like to briefly focus on this theme now. As KGI graduates, you have been provided with unique training. I spent yesterday meeting with many of you and with the faculty, and KGI is genuinely an extraordinary place. No matter which path you take in your careers, as KGI graduates, you have a unique perspective on the world. As scientists, you understand nature at its most fundamental level. With this knowledge comes responsibility. We are facing some extraordinary challenges. Some of you, the KGI graduates, are in a better position to shape the world. You have both the intellectual tools and the business skills to make the future better. Fuel and energy. Gas and oil prices continue to fluctuate, but the trend is irrevocably up. Petroleum is our inheritance from the plants and animals that lived tens to hundreds of millions of years ago. Our very way of life, in terms of the materials we depend upon, drugs, plastics, building materials, all of them are derived from petroleum. Future generations will look back on us, on the past 150 years, and wondering what we were thinking, just burning it for heat and energy. We need to preserve this resource so future generations will have the ingredients to make medicines, vitamins, building materials, etc. Nuclear power, renewable biofuels, solar, wind energy, all will be part of the problem, but part of the answer. Creating companies to address this challenge will be the growth industry of the 21st century. Information technologies. Personal recollection. I remember when I was finishing my PhD and writing my thesis. This was before word processors and a few years before personal computers. My PhD thesis committee, after I had finished typing my thesis, required me to make a few changes in my thesis, which was typed actually by one of the department secretaries. Yes, we called them secretaries then. It was something like $2 a page, and I was making $5,400 as a graduate research assistant, so this was an exorbitant price. My committee required me to revise the thesis by adding a few paragraphs to several chapters. In order to not have to renumber all the pages in the thesis, I had to judiciously rewrite by deleting exactly the same number of words that I was adding, so that the page would come out at exactly the same place. On a side note, the secretary who typed my thesis quit, and so my fiance, who was attending my thesis defense, ended up typing the revisions because she could type, but I didn't pay her. Today, we rely on powerful personal computers for everything from email to entertainment. We take word processing for granted. These advances will continue with the next few years seeing migration from laptops, notebooks, and desktops to the cloud computing, in which our files will reside on remote servers just as our Gmail accounts do, rather than on local hard drives, and they'll be accessible anywhere and at any time. How this change will affect our lives cannot be predicted, but you will be at the nexus of this change, and it's a really great opportunity. Food and water. As the population grows, we need to increase crop production by improving both the yield and the nutritional value of foods, and we also need to create reliable sources of water. As developing countries demand more diverse diets, the challenges become extraordinary. Scientists have played a large role in improving both of these characteristics of the last century, and innovations in fertilizer production and advances in herbicide and pesticide, insecticide production have greatly advanced the ability to produce food. Today's challenge is to enable food production in a sustainable way. Most of the world, both developed, as here in California, and undeveloped parts of the world, are struggling with access to adequate quantities of clean water. Scientists and engineers have solved these problems and have provided potable water supplies by developing reverse osmosis systems. Unfortunately, this process is incredibly energy intensive. So bringing adequate food and clean water to the world's population is both an incredible challenge and an immense opportunity. Health and disease, my last topic. I'd like to describe some recent activities in the field of genetics. As you heard, I serve on the board of directors of Illumina, the largest company in the genetic analysis market. A few years ago, the directors of the company received the opportunity to have a complete genetic analysis performed, as well as on 9 other members of their family. And this was done at cost, so we had to pay for it. I took advantage of the opportunity and I had my entire family analyzed. Me, my wife, our 2 daughters, my parents, sister, my wife's mother, and my wife's sister. The only close relative who chose not to get tested was my brother. He's an attorney. We received test kits that involve spitting in a tube and sending the saliva sample off in a numbered envelope that protect our identities, and some of the students I know have had that done as well. When we received our results, all individually, I logged onto my personal website, anxious to learn about my genetic makeup. I confess I was a bit nervous as I began to view my genotype. At first, I checked my maternal and my paternal ancestries. Interestingly, my paternal ancestry traced me all the way back to a region in Africa. I then began to look at some of the more fun or recreational characteristics. I learned that I'm a fast metabolizer of caffeine, that I have wet rather than dry earwax, and I learned some other interesting things. I then thought about looking at the genetic information that correlates with propensity for disease. Without too much thought, I launched into it. There were genotypes related to cancer, heart disease, diabetes, other disorders. Each disease was associated with a normal, a lower, or a higher risk of that particular disease. So how has this information affected my life and my view of things? I learned that I have a much higher than normal propensity for glaucoma. So I made an appointment with an ophthalmologist at Mass General who is an expert in glaucoma. That's his specialty. Empowered with this genetic information, I went through the entire battery of tests for early signs of glaucoma, and everything came up normal. Doctor told me, don't worry about it. Come back in a couple years for your regular checkup. If there's any increase in pressure, it'll be early. We'll be able to catch it and do something about it. As for lifestyle changes, I now drink coffee at night after a meal if I want. Before genotyping, I was just prudent and chose not to drink coffee after 5 p.m. So I'm empowered. As I thought about it, the more information I have about my individual makeup, the better. If I have propensities toward diseases, it gives me the opportunity to take some action, avoid certain types of behavior, get more frequent checkups or blood tests, and have more informed discussions with my physician. Although my physician is going to have to get informed about these things as well. Those of you who are contemplating careers in the biotech industry will find a vastly different process for drug discovery and development than present-day approaches. At Tufts, we have a Center for Drug Development, which performs a widely quoted study every few years on the cost of developing a drug. At present, the number to bring a new drug to market is over $1 billion, more than $1 billion. Clearly, this cost is outrageous if we expect to sustain the pharmaceutical industry and continue to bring new medicines to market on a timely basis. In the near future, everyone will have their genetic profile performed at birth. The $1,000 genome will be here within a few years, and the $100 genome is within sight. Each of us will have information about his or her propensity for allergies, risks of various diseases, propensity toward drug or alcohol abuse, and many other characteristics. And again, these are only going to be propensities. They're not certainties. We can use this information to make informed choices about our lifestyle. People with a higher than average propensity toward lung cancer may choose not to smoke. People with a propensity toward diabetes may choose to keep their weights down and exercise. We will also carry information about our ability to metabolize drugs, so that our drug dosages will be tailored to the individual. If we have our genetic profile, we will know if a particular drug will be effective and if it will cause side effects. The pharmaceutical industry will likely embrace this approach because it will allow the physician to determine who should get a particular drug and who should not. The cost of drug development should plummet, and the failure rate should plummet as well. Drugs that would fail today because of rare side effects will just be used in people who will benefit from them and will not fail because they will exhibit any side effects. The graduates pursuing work in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries will see this model implemented within the next few years. Exciting times. Finally, there are consequences to these advances in science and technology. Turning to the example of genetic testing, there is a risk of discrimination by insurance companies and employers, although that's not legal, but there's a risk. But these issues are not science. They're grounded in politics, ethics, social policies, and law. Science informs these areas. It does not determine policies and laws. For this reason, it's your duty to commit yourselves to getting involved in educating your families, friends, colleagues, neighbors, politicians, school boards, and others so they can participate in an informed way on the issues that confront us that have scientific underpinnings. While I believe everyone has a responsibility to give back to the community and society at large, with your training, background, and future leadership roles in the business community, you have a unique opportunity to give back to society.
Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of Keck Graduate Institute's candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy. The board approved the resolution unanimously. I call upon James Sterling, the Dean of the Faculty, to present the candidates.
The candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree are unable to join us today. However, it is with great pleasure that I acknowledge the work of these candidates, Frank Bergman and Dimitris Iliopoulos.
Also, upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. The Board of Trustees also received a resolution from the faculty to grant the first degree to a member of Keck Graduate Institute's postdoctoral professional master's in bioscience management class. The board approved the resolution unanimously, and I call upon James Sterling to present the candidate.
Will the candidate for the degree of postdoctoral professional master's in bioscience management please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present Yvonne Klaue, who has successfully completed the requirements for the degree of postdoctoral professional master's degree in bioscience management.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer on you the degree of postdoctoral professional master's in bioscience management with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Yvonne Plowett.
Just hold it to the This is it's just a wonderful celebration of a wonderful new degree, and it's even more special because Andreas was part of the class, I believe. We want him to remember us, and because of that, we have a special gift for Andreas. In addition, we have, right here. He is also going to be, he has already applied for the class of, the KGI class of 2034. We hope that in fact he remembers us. I'm sure he's going to love this. Recently, the Board of Trustees received a resolution from the faculty to grant degrees to members of the Keck Graduate Institute's 9th Master of Bioscience class, the class of 2010. The board approved the resolution unanimously. I call upon Jim Sterling to present the candidates.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Bioscience please rise? Mr. Chairman, with great pleasure, I present the candidates who have successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Master of Bioscience.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty, with the Board of Trustees of Keck Graduate Institute concurring, I hereby confer on all of you the degree of Master of Bioscience, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Will the candidates come forward to receive their degrees and hoods? Ronak Advani. Pratik Ahuja. Sarah Louise Arlene.
Congratulations.
Kankshit Beda. Lane Ashley Bilbray. Pierre-Alain Lucien Blas.
Congratulations.
Ryan John Carbone. Anna Christine Carroll.
Congratulations.
Hardeep Chiraya.
Congratulations.
Pratush Chander.
Congratulations.
Anisha Chowdhury.
Congratulations.
Michael Allen Esselman.
Congratulations.
Rochelle Lena Freed.
Congratulations.
Maria Teresa George.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Erin Goldberg.
Congratulations.
Benjamin Barton Haynes.
Congratulations.
Anthony Robert Hewitt.
Congratulations.
Mike Huang. Solomon Obedi Iasora.
Congratulations.
Nick Jasenko. Harsimranjit
Congratulations.
Singh Kang. Aditya Wishwas Kelkar.
Congratulations.
Tyler Harris Kibbe.
Congratulations.
Purvi Lad.
Congratulations.
Vincent Lamb.
Congratulations.
Sana Rafiq Musa.
Congratulations.
Vikashni Pudumakumar.
Congratulations.
Nitya Priya Periyasamy.
Congratulations.
Delian Rusef.
Congratulations.
Sonali Sharad Talele.
Congratulations.
Brent Michael Thompson.
Congratulations.
Thomas Tredenik.
Congratulations.
Matthew John Verbrugge.
Congratulations, Matt.
Shevis Hideme Kekai Wakuta. Tiffany Wan.
Congratulations.
Yiping Michael Wong.
Congratulations.
Sri Ranga Yardla Gudda.
Congratulations.
Andrew Thomas Youngans.
Congratulations. Take it.
Let's give a round of applause to the class of 2010.
Now you are alumni. I would like to introduce our alumna speaker, Darren Leva, class of 2005. This is the inaugural year that the president of the Alumni Association welcomes our graduates into the alumni family. Newly elected President Leva is a regional sales associate for Althea Technologies in the San Francisco Bay Area, selling manufacturing services to biotechnology companies. He is also involved in starting 2 companies. He's the co-founder of a drug delivery company that is in the early stages of trying to raise capital, and his second venture, a Craigslist for the biotech industry, hasn't yet quite been launched. I'm sure he's looking for investors. Darren decided to get involved in our alumni board as a way to give back to the faculty and the institution that provided him with such a valuable education. As an entrepreneur, Darren has said the most important things he took away from KGI were how to write a business plan and the opportunity to talk with actual venture capitalists. He's also learned valuable lessons that he uses on the job, where he is required to organize a great many moving pieces, such as internal personnel, external clients, the technology components of the job, and contract negotiations. Please welcome Darren Leva.
All right, one more speech and you're out of here. So now that you are alumni, we'll be passing around collection baskets for you to contribute money. If you don't have any money, that's why your parents are here. We also take Visa and MasterCard. So I'd like to be the first to congratulate you on behalf of the Alumni Board and the Alumni Association. This is a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. I want to tell you a little bit about the importance of this school and your degree from an alumni perspective, and then also what it means to us as the alumni collectively. So you just graduated from a startup school. And what does it take to make a startup work? It takes entrepreneurs, a good technology, money, and of course risk. So who are the entrepreneurs? That's you, that's the faculty, that's the staff, that's the other alumni that came before you. We're all paving the way. Good technology, that's your degree, that's the MBS. It took vision from Hank Riggs and the founding faculty who had the foresight to see a gap in the industry. And he took action to make it happen. It took money. It's the Keck Foundation, donors, students, alumni, and of course parents. And it took risk. Everyone involved has taken a risk and are still taking risks. A risk that the product of the school, that's you, will add value to the industry. A risk that the school will stay afloat, a risk that the MBS will be recognized by the industry, and a risk that faculty and staff will actually have jobs in the coming years. So you are all entrepreneurs, whether you think so or not, but what did you actually do to get here as an entrepreneur? Well, first of all, you enrolled in an experimental program. Second, you learned to beg, borrow, and steal from your fellow classmates. You ate endless amounts of top ramen and pizza. You completed projects without full knowledge of how to accomplish them. You might have drove a crappy car or crappy bike. You worked countless 80-hour-plus weeks with ridiculous timelines. You slept on couches at school, and you're probably wearing the same clothes for the last 2 years. So you really are entrepreneurs. So when you showed up at KGI, you were kind of an egg. You're a little embryo, a chicken embryo. And over time, the embryo has been incubated, and you just hatched, and now you're little baby chickens. So that is the product of KGI, baby chickens. So now as baby chickens, you've got to get a little scrappy. You got to fight for food, and you got to find that job. It's not going to be easy, but I have confidence in you. So you are joining about 250 other chickens, making us about 294 strong. So lucky for you, it's going to be a little bit easier than the class before you and the other classes before them. So KGI has gained stability. Although in its infancy, we have a successful product that seems to be working in the field. As a startup, we are transitioning out from under our mother's financial wing, which I'm sure the Keck Foundation is happy about, although Shelley's probably pretty nervous. We've got we have a strong industry support from TMPs and internships, and although it's hard to believe, we actually have reports of brand awareness and recognition from the field. And the best part, we just formed an alumni association, so that's good news. So now you're all sitting there asking yourself, what can I do to keep this startup moving forward? Because we want to develop this thing into a finely, well-tuned machine. So there's 3 things you can do. Obviously, you can get a job. So you got to lay off the top ramen, you got to upgrade the bike, maybe lube the chain a little bit, and maybe buy some new socks. Whatever it is, make it happen. Most importantly, though, you've got to sell the brand. You are the brand. We are the brand as an alumni. And KGI can do as much as they can from a marketing standpoint, but it's your reputation in the field, it's the quality of work you do, and you are responsible for that. And we as an alumni are responsible. So I kind of think of it as we're the wheels on the KGI bus. So, and we got to keep the bus moving, and hopefully the bus gets really big. So the third thing you can do is stay connected to the alumni in the school. So we made that easy for you. We created the first alumni board to oversee the Alumni Association. So we are very unique as alumni, as an alumni group. First of all, we all have an instant bond because we've all been through hell and back with this education, and you know what I mean. KGI is a very progressive place, so they've given us the opportunity to influence the education and the curriculum, which is pretty unique for an alumni board, and we're already doing this. Next year, the next semester, the curriculum will change based on comments that we've given. We also have the opportunity to influence admissions. It's important for us to keep the quality of the student high and the work high quality. That's something we're also influencing, and we are part of the admissions process now. Also from an alumni group, you have a one-of-a-kind networking opportunity. It's really interesting. Probably 95% of students or alumni all go into the same industry. That's really powerful, especially when the school has a 50-person advisory council that is all made up of industry executives who want to recruit and mentor our alumni. Also, we have a great networking opportunity through TMPs and internships. Those connections are great. And then as a board, we plan to utilize all those opportunities, streamline the network and career growth opportunities through educational events and online tools. So we encourage you to stay involved at any level you feel comfortable, on the board, going to events, or utilizing us as a resource. So to summarize, you are pioneers and entrepreneurs in this school. You're the wheels on the KGI bus. And we are proud that you've come this far, but remember, we have a brand to build and maintain. It's our responsibility. As an alumni association, we want you to stay connected. We want you to utilize us to help advance your careers. So go out, make us proud, and welcome to the Alumni Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. And of course, now that we know we're making chickens, we may want to work on our business plan. The board will take that up. We have one more event, or one more part of this ceremony officially. But I want to ask all of you in the class of 2010 first, while I'm looking down at you as alumni, please move your tassels from the right to the left. You are alumni. You are graduates. Congratulations. Let me end this wonderful ceremony on this great morning with a charge to you as the class of 2010. And it's really based on my thoughts as a scientist and what we would like to see you accomplish as scientists as well. And I have to say that I find it amusing and sometimes a little bit distressing when I hear that sort of talking, the talking heads in the media say things like, well, since there's an argument among scientists about global warming, then it must not be true. Well, I'm not here to discuss global warming. What I am here to ask you to do is understand that argument itself is a central feature of good science. And it's the one that I ask you never to discard, ever in your careers. In a recent issue of Science, John Osborne at Stanford discusses the role of argument in science education and science, and he really points out that argument is an essential feature of science itself. Whether the data are from clinical studies, scientific basic science investigations, formulations of a new theory, the scientific method demands critical examination of data and conclusions for an examination of the tiniest flaw. And they're both formal and informal methods for doing that. And when something is accepted by the scientific community as having the proper level of rigor, it's accepted. So he also goes on, let me just quote briefly how education and science are so intricately melted together. He says, over time, ideas that survive critical examination attain consensual acceptance within the community. And by discourse and argument, science maintains its objectivity. Critique is not, therefore, something a peripheral feature of science, but rather it is core to its practice. And without argument and evaluation, the construction of reliable knowledge would be impossible. Whether it is a theoretician who is developing new models of phenomenon, or the experimentalist who is proposing new ways of collecting data, all scientists must subject their ideas to the scrutiny of their peers. But what of science education? Surprisingly, his hypothesis in this paper is that argument and debate are virtually absent from science education. And for the most part, I heartily agree with that. But there is a major exception, and it's here at KGI. We have moved science education into the case-based, project-based, and team-oriented arena. And we have given you what I hope you will appreciate as a substantial advantage and a new set of experiences. It comes not as a result of not only of a new educational model, but through daily hard work and dedication of your faculty. It is far more difficult to prepare meaningful exercises and experience than to become the sage on the stage. I hope that's inspired you. My charge to you as a graduate is to remember the lessons of argumentation and the importance of being critical. Demand the data. Examine the conclusions carefully. You must be skeptical. Don't believe what you're told, except what I'm telling you now. I will end my charge to you in the words of one of the most esteemed scholars of science and society and history, Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss. As a commencement speaker at Lake Forest College in 1977, his entire speech was what I consider to be an essential message to you as you begin your careers as scientists within a business context. The poem is My Uncle Terwilliger on the art of eating popovers. My uncle ordered popovers from the restaurant's bill of fare, and when they were served, he regarded them with a penetrating stare. Then he spoke great words of wisdom. As he sat there on the chair, "To eat these things," said my uncle, "you must exercise great care. You may swallow what is solid, but you must spit out the air. And as you partake of the world's bill of fare, that's darn good advice to follow. Do a lot of spitting out the hot air, and be careful what you swallow." Please join me again in congratulating the class of 2010.